Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny Z here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. ACDC kicked off their Power Up 2024 European tour yesterday in Germany, and lots of questions were answered during this show. How did new members Matt Laug and Chaney sound? How did Brian's vocals hold up throughout the performance? And, what would the set list look like as well? Also, most importantly, I think, how did the band sound? Do ACDC still have it? And so there are a lot of questions that were answered. Let's talk about it. First off, let's dive into the set list that you guys can see right over here. Kicking things off with If You Want Blood, fantastic opener. Back in Black, Demon Fire, Shot Down in Flames, Thunderstruck, Have a Drink on Me, Hell's Bells, Shot in the Dark, Stiff Upper Lip, You Shook Me All Night Long, Rock and Roll Train, Shoot to Thrill, Sin City, Giving the Dog a Bone, Dirty Deeds, Dog Eat Dog, High Voltage, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Riff Raff, Highway to Hell, Whole Lotta Rosie, Let There Be Rock with the extended Angus solo, and then for the encore TNT, and for those about to rock. So this is the same set list from Power Trip, which I'm not disappointed about at all. I think that was a great set. I think it's a great mix of, classics from the Bon and Brian era with some new stuff, you can still call it that, from Power Up. And obviously, yes, there are a plethora of deep cuts they can play, but this is a fine set list here and a great collection of, some of their best material from, all eras. I was surprised to see stuff in there from even Stiff Upper Lip. So pretty solid in my opinion, not a problem with this set list. And I think in my opinion, you could definitely make a deeper set, but when it comes to what ACDC are doing right now, totally fine. And I think it's, a testament to how strong their catalog is, that you can have all those classics in there and still there are so many great tracks that, would make for fantastic live songs. I was curious to see how new drummer Matt Laug and current touring bassist Chaney would sound with ACDC. Now, of course, we heard Laug with the band at Power Trip, and I thought he did a really good job. I think they both played their parts well. And is it weird to see Angus and Brian up on stage without Cliff Williams and Phil Rudd? Sure, absolutely. But there was no doubt the band would go ahead and find somebody, as outside hires that were going to do a great job. And they definitely could have stayed within the ACDC family if they wanted to, with Mark Evans and Simon Wright available, but clearly there's still some unresolved bad blood there. So ultimately, I think Matt and Chris did a good job, and the only nitpick I would have is that I think with Cliff being gone, it definitely does take away from the backing vocals. I think Malcolm and Cliff had such a distinct backing vocal sound that, really added to the band's, the band's live set. But of course, Malcolm's gone, and Cliff not participating in this tour, so that's just a minor nitpick, really nothing you can do about that. But aside from that, good stuff from the new guys. Brian Johnson sounds really good for his age, and you can tell Brian is up there having the time of his life, and it's great to see him back on stage after the events, surrounding the end of the Rock or Bust tour. Is his voice what it used to be? No, absolutely not. But he's giving it 110% and still giving us a real show, so you absolutely have to tip your cap to that. And I think he had more energy during this show than what we saw during Power Trip, and I think his voice held up better during this set too, so that's great stuff. Definitely showing that, he still has energy, still has something to give, and like I said, looks like he's having a whole lot of fun as well. So great to see Brian back up there. It's a great redemption story for Brian Johnson, who, lost his hearing, thought he would never be at the stage again, but now back fronting ACDC. Really cool to see, and, again, a great story. So, do ACDC still have it? I would say absolutely they do. For me, I wasn't obviously at the show. I was able to watch it on YouTube. There are a lot of high-quality uploads up there now of people who recorded the show, so thank you for that. And it was great to see the band performing live, but it was a very fun set. Really enjoyed it. So, I would say this. Do not take for granted the opportunity to see ACDC live possibly one last time on this tour if they do announce more dates going forward, outside of the European tour. I know for me, if they announce North American dates and they're coming around here, I'm absolutely going to see ACDC, which, possibly could be one last time, because I can't help but feel with this tour that this is, a triumphant way to end things, compared to how things ended on the Rock or Bust tour, and probably our last, considering the circumstances, chance to see one of the greatest rock bands of all time, and one of the greatest showmen in rock in Angus Young, and he can still play guitar as good as ever, even if he's not perpetual motion on stage anymore, which brings me to our next point, which is, if you go to this tour expecting to see 1981 ACDC, you're going to be disappointed. Don't even bother, because at the end of the day, these guys are in their 70s now and still giving us the best possible show they can put on, where other bands have taken shortcuts using backing tracks, among other things. ACDC are still one of the most real and genuine bands out there, no matter the age or the era. And so for me, as a fan, I can say for the first time since I was in middle school, ACDC are back on tour, and that feels awesome to say. So that wraps up this review of the ACDC show from Germany last night. First show on the Power Up European tour. The band are back on the road. Really cool to say. Fantastic to hear that show online. Of course, I wish I could have been there, but I don't live in Germany, so definitely excited to have new ACDC live content out there and wanted to share my thoughts on it here today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new upload, and let me know down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on ACDC performing live in 2024, and in your opinion, based on what you've seen, do they still have it? I want to hear from you. And until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. Take care, everybody.